7-port charging station, don't make me laugh. We're moving up to 10 ports now. This is the SIIG 10-port USB charging station with ambient light deck. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I've been using this Nasdaq 7-port charging station for quite a little while now. It's had a firm place on my shelf, and actually I even gave one of them to my parents. They're using it day in, day out, they love it. But as you might imagine, I go through a lot of devices, and so 7 ports are not always enough for me. So that's why, now that some new charging stations have started emerging with 10 ports, these companies have started emailing me about them, I'm definitely up to try them out. So let us dig into the box. Should be fairly straightforward, but let's just see. Now that is a bit of a power brick. On here it mentions an output of 19 volts at 4.73 amps, and it's got this little barrel connector on the end. Then just a pretty standard power cable for the other side. I will say of all the charging stations I've used so far, none of them have had this kind of brick on it, but with the amount of power this is going to be putting out, I can't really say I fault it. Here is the power station itself, and then there's also a user reference guide in here, which says that there are 10 USB charging ports, a total charging input of 18 amps, and per port output of 5 volts at 2.4 amps max. And there you have it. There is the USB charging deck. Here's the SIIG branding on the side with the pad. This is supposed to have an ambient light around it. Kind of interesting, there are actually only 8 slots here. I don't know why, but I figured there would be 10. I guess you can have 8 devices and then 2 sitting here sideways. But then on the back of it, there are definitely 10 charging ports, and there's a light switch over here, which is kind of interesting. Just very initial impressions holding it in my hand. This is all rubberized plastic, at least the top section is. The bottom is a little bit rubberized, so it's very grippy, which is nice, but it also feels very, very lightweight. Just thought I'd go ahead and mention that. And unlike the previous charging station that I looked at, the separators in this do not go up terribly high, so you'll be able to use this for small devices, but if you have a tablet or something, it's possible that it might not be able to stand up in there. We'll try some of these things out here in a minute, but let's plug it up and see how it works. So barrel connector into the back, power plug into the outlet, and at this point we should be about ready to go. So if I hit this button, now you can see we have the ambient light on. If I hit it again, it turns off, on and off, you know. And let's go ahead and test some of the ports. So I'm gonna plug in my device. Right now it's at 5 volts at 1.8 amps. Now currently my device is at over 80% charge, and it is the Galaxy S7, so it's really looking for a faster charge than this. But 5 volts at 1.8 amps, not too bad. Try some of the other ones and see how they do. The same, and the same. A little bit lower actually on the amperage output, but it's kind of fluctuating on that one. And roughly the same, again, sort of flipping around there, and roughly the same. So yeah, I went through all the charging ports, didn't show them all to you, but they're all roughly a little over 5 volts and just about 1.7 to 1.75 amps. A large part of that may just be due to the device I'm using with it, but it should be thoroughly capable of doing 5 volts at 2.4 amps on all of the ports. As far as how a device would fit, you know, you just sort of slot it in right there and it stays. Fits whichever way you want to put it. And of course you got your grippy pad here you can kind of sit your device on. Fits the Galaxy S7 quite nicely. And just to give you a bit of an idea of where I have been with these things, there you go, loaded it down with devices. So you've got some larger tablets here. This is about an 8-inch Windows tablet. You've got some smaller phones that are in there. You've got the little Yoda phone staying in there quite nicely. Again, this sort of rubberized plastic on the top is keeping anything from sliding around, which is very nice. If I move it around, it doesn't seem to be shuffling or anything. If I bump the table, it might move a little, but no, they're not moving. So cool, thumbs up so far. I will of course be testing this out moving forward. I kind of really like the low profile, how these don't come up all the way, because when you don't have it loaded down with devices, it's not sticking up super far. So unless you're putting ridiculously large tablets in there, just with your small phones and whatnot, it's not gonna be huge and in the way, aside from just having kind of a large footprint like this. And of course you've got this little light that comes on. The light doesn't appear to do anything other than just light up. It doesn't control whether or not it's powered on, but it gives you a little something to look at, a little something to do, I suppose. This item is available over on Amazon for about 50 bucks. The retail price on it's about 60, but it's 50 right now. And for that price point, if you're looking for something to charge all of your devices in your household at once, this is probably a good option. Keep in mind, it does not come with any USB cables, so you're gonna have to provide those for yourself, but you get the things I showed you earlier. So of course you get the stand for all your devices, as well as the power cable and brick, and you can provide the USB cables as necessary. So thanks so much to SIIG for sending this out for me to take a look at. This will definitely have a place of honor on my shelf, holding a bunch of devices, as you can see here. I do actually have another one of these 10 bays that I'm gonna be taking a look at from another company here in a few days. That one has a quick charge port on it, so be on the lookout for that video as well, but also keep in mind that one's gonna be a little bit more expensive, but I'll put a link to where you can find this one down in the video description. Thanks so much to you guys for watching. Remember to leave a thumbs up down below if you like this video, subscribe to receive more when they become available, and I will see you again next time.